Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the sports betting network. Mitch Moss along with Paulie Howard live today, downtown Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino. A 3-hour banger lined up today. Great guests on the program. Matt Vasgersian, John Calvecchio, who's going to be in today after the National Sports Card Trading Show in Chicago. Aaron Moore, the Professor Best Bets, as it's a big day at the network here. College football guide is out as we speak. We'll get into plenty of baseball today as well. I have not seen you since the week before the All-Star break in Major League Baseball. How you been, pal?
All right, buddy. What's your name again? Yes.
Name tags around here, I think.
Been a long time. Yes. Calvecchio's a lunatic. Had dinner with him. Meatballs, shrimp, salad, 2 rolls of bread, steak, mashed potatoes, wanted dessert.
All of that on his own.
This guy's a garbage disposal.
Wow, that's impressive.
But it does not mess around.
And nowadays, I could eat maybe
food.
half of that.
Oh, my God.
Not even, probably.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so we'll get into the Scooble trade over the weekend as well. And the latest, though, this is bizarre, what is happening with in particular with the Chicago Cubs and Angels pitcher Reed Detmers, because last night the Cubs got Kevin Gausman. Pretty good start, right, for Chicago at the deadline?
Yeah.
And then the report came out a couple hours ago, give or take, that they also were going to acquire Reed Detmers from the Angels. That would be a hell of a 1-2 combination at the deadline for a team that's kind of like right there. Then Jesse Rogers, who covers the Cubs and has for a long time tweeted out, hold on a second here. It is absolutely, according to a source, not a done deal. They have not acquired him. So then the Cubs pivoted and they made a move for Braxton Garrett with the Marlins. So as of right now, it's still like Detmers is an Angel the way it appears.
I thought he'd be moved. I was surprised by this.
We still have 2 hours to go
Uh-huh.
before the deadline. So I think, the Angels have to sell him, don't they?
Yes. And they made several moves already today. So I expect him to go, right? Other thing is, like, why didn't the Red Sox get Scooble? Why was that the price? In addition to what just happened with Rutschman, which people cannot believe. I can't believe it. I hate the trade. I can't stand it from Boston's standpoint. I know it's found money because you were 14 games under 500. Now you come out of nowhere and you have this incredible run and you won 15 to 16 on the road. But what the Dodgers gave up to get Scooble, compare it to what, I know he's a rental, but this might be a half rental, what they gave up to get Rutschman. I mean, there's one MLB insider who said it's one of the dumbest trades I've ever seen.
Sure.
Here's why I hate it. He's hurt. You have to take over a new staff and learn a new staff in a short amount of time. Who knows how long he'll play and when he comes back and how many games he's going to give you. And then he's a free agent after next season. Are we going to have baseball next year?
I know. So I definitely bought in early with Adley Rutschman, early in his career, like right away as a rookie. Beyond that, I had some serious tickets on him. He has not lived up to the hype, man, at all. I think you can absolutely sit here and say that the Red Sox gave up more for Adley Rutschman than what the Tigers got in return for Tarek Skubal.
Right, and ESPN gave the Tigers a D for their trade. And I
As
think
they
that's
should.
fair. Right, yes. But why'd you give up? Well, our catchers didn't do anything this year. There was really a position we had to fill. But you gave up your best right-handed prospect, and you gave up 2 other top prospects with this. It's crazy.
Yeah, here are their overall rankings, by the way. The Red Sox gave up their 2nd best prospect overall, their 4th best prospect, their 5th best prospect, and their 17th best prospect for Adley Rutschman. What is happening today?
Yep.
Going back to Saturday night as well.
And it's over for the Orioles now. We can close the door on that, how they blew it. A couple of years ago, the 1 seed wouldn't make a move. Can't touch these prospects. Well, no, you can't do it. You guys can't get on the field because there's so many of them, but you cannot part with these prospects. We're not going to go for it. And it bit them in the ass, and it never worked out, and they blew it. They absolutely blew it. And that's why I'm pissed off at baseball, this whole thing with the Dodgers and what happened. Don't allow it to happen. Number 1, you don't have to make a trade with them. Number 2, Milwaukee, Atlanta, somebody step up and get the deal done because what was offered and done was pretty much was weak sauce as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, so by the way, the team that might be a better version than Baltimore could be Milwaukee. A longer period of sustained success, better overall, but they went a little while ago and they acquired Dustin May and JoJo Romero for their bullpen. That's the move they're going to make. Now, here's the deal. when that trade happened on Saturday night, I was absolutely furious. And I said immediately, this is a disaster for Detroit. That's the haul for Tarek Skubal. You have to be bleeping kidding me. Right away on Sunday morning. I could not wait to see what the offers were for teams like Milwaukee for Skubal. I had somebody reach out to me and told me that they're hearing the Brewers offered a better package for him, but the Tigers accepted the one from the Dodgers instead. And I firmly believe that. And that leads me down the path of, do you want to buy into, like, this is part of the whole collusion that owners did not want him to go anywhere else but the Dodgers, so there's absolutely going to be a lockout next year? I'll buy into that a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
I will. But I am, and so there's a piece of audio as well. That's what I heard right away on Sunday morning.
If you're the Dodgers, don't you feel dirty picking up the phone?
No, I think I don't blame the Dodgers at all. I think it's.
Come on.
I think it's tremendous for them. Why would here. This is one piece of audio that you're going to hear. This is from Kurt Hogg, who does a great job covering the Brewers and what he was hearing regarding the Brewers package.
I do think it is interesting that there's some chatter, there's some whispers, some rumors going around the game. You can hear this. I don't know if this is news necessarily. I don't know if this is out there, but you'll hear it on Brewer territory if it is.
Yep.
The Brewers were involved, guys. The Brewers had an offer that there's some people around the league that have said that I've heard today. The Brewers had an offer. It was good. And in certain eyes, maybe people would have taken it. I don't know what the offer was, so I can't speak to that, unfortunately. But it says the Brewers were involved. That doesn't get you Tarek Skubal, obviously.
Is there a chance that Skubal told Detroit, "You're not sending me to Milwaukee"? And would they listen to that even for a better offer? I just don't know. I mean, if this is the situation that we're in, because I kind of believe this as well. Again, when Kurt Hogg is saying that, I had someone completely different tell me the same thing. Okay, I'll lean into that then and say that I'm open here. My ears are listening. The Brewers offered more, but yet they said no to that. Other teams, did they offer more as well? And they just said, nope, sorry, we need a lockout next year. And Skubal may have said, what if Skubal said, send me to Milwaukee, screw the Dodgers. I'm going to go there for 3 months. They've never won a World Series. Do you know what kind of legendary status you become if you go to a city like Milwaukee for the rest of your life?
That's what he should have said.
Yeah.
That's the correct answer. And still, Snell, Glasnow, Ohtani, Yamamoto. Need more. I don't know. It's not that good. Minus 130 here to win the National League.
Sure.
It's absurd.
Mm-hmm. Paul.
But that's also everyone involved. So the Milwaukee thing is troubling. Where's Atlanta? Where's another team to come in? Shame on Detroit. But it goes back.
Bingo.
Shame on Detroit, but it also goes back. We did this with the Yankees. And the Yankees are ruining baseball. They're going to win every year. They get three-peat. Going to win it 4 times at 5 snaps. Well, at least they had the core of 4, though, too. And guys they developed with the farm system. But you also have to give them credit that they want to win, and they go for it every single year. But with astronomical payrolls and the deal with Ohtani and what they have, but they put asses in the seats, though, too. I mean, they people pack that ballpark every night.
Oh, no,
and
no question.
how they move product. But it's also on these, like with Baltimore a couple of years ago, Milwaukee, shame on Detroit. Where's Atlanta? I mean, this guy was available, even though it's a rental, that it wasn't a steep price. And he could even throw the Red Sox in there, too, after they gave up all this just to get the Rushman with a guy you don't like who's going to be a free agent at the end of next season.
Yep. Lowest ERA since the beginning of the 2023 season. Minimum 50 starts. Number 1, Tarek Skubal. Number 2, Paul Skeens in all of Major League Baseball. 3rd, 4th, and 5th lowest ERAs since the beginning of 2023. Blake Snell, Shohei Ohtani, and Yamamoto. And they're going to get Glasnow back.
Mm-hmm. But it's baseball. It doesn't mean it's over. And
no,
they
it
just pencil
doesn't.
them in. I mean, still, if you see, and they're not playing good ball right now, but the Phillies have a great starting rotation. You have to face the Miz in Milwaukee. It's not going to be easy. And certainly the Phillies had them on the ropes last year, too.
Oh,
and the Blue Jays should have beat them.
Blue Jays absolutely should have defeated them, yeah. So from a betting standpoint, the number has moved a little bit. I don't know what the Tigers are going to do with Casey Mize today. Again, they have nearly 2 hours if they want to get involved with the deal there. I did take the Tigers at plus 790 to make the playoffs.
Oh, you zagged.
I did. I went the other way because if you look at wipe away Skubal. Like they've had some bad luck this year. They're below 500, yet a positive run differential. They have other guys specifically in that staff that had numbers like the WAR numbers comparable to Skubal. I get it, he missed some time, but Melton's been coming on like gangbusters. They have a very easy schedule over the next 2 months, and the American League sucks.
It does. How about the Padres?
Oh,
How about that? Like 2 weeks ago, it's a disaster where Sellers could be a fire sale. Then they catch fire and win 8 of 9, and they can absolutely do this and make the playoffs, and they start a big 4-game set against Arizona, and they acquire Robbie Ray today.
Yeah.
So now they're going for
of
it.
all teams to get Robbie Ray.
Yes.
That's another one. How do the Brewers not make that move?
There's another one. I
for
know.
Robbie Ray.
I know.
And then what?
I tell you, I wouldn't take. I take 10-1 the Cubs to miss the playoffs. They have the second toughest schedule the rest of the way, and they're only 5 up on these teams, like San Diego, Miami, and those type. So I don't. That's crazy. As much talent as they have, but they didn't really improve at the deadline. They have a brutal schedule the rest of the way, and it's only a 5-game lead.
Yeah. No. By the way, which team in Major League Baseball has been kind of all over the map?
They're schizophrenic.
They are big time.
Yes.
And then explain to me what the Blue Jays are doing. After they traded Kevin Gossman, they went out and got Jose Soriano from the Angels.
That's more about next year and player control for the next 2 years. I thought the same thing, but now that they have them locked up through 28, I believe, with player control.
Yeah. Did you make a move at all?
I just took they're taking some Cubs to miss the playoffs.
Okay, that's a huge number, man.
Yeah. It's similar to what Detroit pulled off a couple of years ago, but in the opposite. I think they could implode.
Yep. Huge day at the network today as our annual college football betting guide is out. Here is how you know betting college football futures is different, way different than in previous iterations of the sport. I'll explain that coming up next here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We'll get right into it here. It's been fast and furious. Deadline coming up in Major League Baseball for trades in about 30 minutes. Matt Vasgersian joins the program now, kind enough to take a few minutes to join us here on Deadline Day from MLB Network. Matty, thanks for the time as always. We'll get into what you loved, liked so far, maybe not so much, but let's begin with what took place on Saturday night. Overall, your take on the Tigers trading ace Tarik Skubal to the LA Dodgers.
Yeah, for a 28-year-old prospect, interesting package they got in return. And I think now it pretty much seals up what we all thought to begin with, and that's the only chance anybody's going to have to beat the Dodgers is in a 5-game series. Because when they can bring any one of those guys back twice to pitch, they're going to be tough in a 7-game series, and that's probably anybody's best chance. I'm not surprised the Dodgers landed him. I was surprised that it happened 30 hours before the actual deadline, and that the Tigers weren't out there shopping. Apparently they got what they wanted, and they were happy with that. But, you know, the trade winds were blown toward the directions of the small market teams, and that's why everybody's so hacked off, right? Because we would have loved to see what Tampa would have looked like with him down the stretch, what the Brewers would have looked like with him down the stretch, 2 of the rumored suitors. I really thought that the Phillies were going to be involved in this because Dave Dombrowski's a big game hunter, and he loves the super-duper star contract, and I thought he'd be involved there too. Not to mention, if you don't trust your lineup, which some people don't in Philly, the way to win in the postseason is to win 2-1, and so go bolster up on the pitching. I do love the Phillies getting a rise, but Skubal was the big prize, of course, and it was pretty surprising that it timed out the way it did, not where he landed.
Excellent point about this is like Jaylen Brown. What's the rush? Why'd you trade him so soon? So are you more shame on Detroit, or are you more of the mindset shame on the rest of baseball that they didn't step up to get him?
No, you can't say shame on the rest of baseball because we're not sure how much the Tigers were locked into the Dodgers as the trade partner. I do know this, that there were significant discussions between the Dodgers and Tigers for Skubal in the deadline of 2024. And then if you'll recall, they held on to him. They made that great run, and they looked like geniuses for not trading him. But the Dodgers thought they had him then. So they've been singularly focused on him. Look, and it's not to say he won't stay there, too. He's a Boris guy. Boris is right in the backyard of Dodger Stadium. How many teams are going to be able to afford to be in the Skubal sweepstakes as an actual free agent at the end of the season anyway? So the Dodgers feel like they can sell him on the culture, on the winning, and then he goes the way that Freddie Freeman went and the rest of the guys that have come there in this great run they've put together, like, wow, we liked where we were before, but this is baseball heaven. I think that's what they're thinking.
All right, Matt, a lot has happened over the weekend and also today leading into the deadline, about 27 minutes as the countdown is on here remaining before that deadline passes. What have you really liked so far today?
Like I said, I really like Arraez going to the Phillies, although it makes them so left-handed. It's preposterous. I mean, they're already pretty left-handed, and what they needed and still might land is something resembling right-handed pop. I still think Taylor Ward's going to be traded. Somebody's going to bite on that. The Phillies were looking at him last week. I'll in no particular order here. Freddie Peralta going to the Rays is fascinating to me because you get Kyle Snyder on him for any prolonged period of time, and everybody gets better when they go there.
Right.
And Freddie Peralta has a changeup. It's about to get a lot better with the best pitching coach in the sport, in my estimation. But is it enough time? Is 2 months enough time for you to enact change as a coach and as an organizational philosophy? Because Freddie's not had a very good year. If he grabs onto some stuff early, that was a great deal. I think the Nationals are probably content with go get him next year, because not only do they trade Curtis Mead, who unfortunately got hurt right after the deal to Boston, but they trade Luis Garcia Jr. as well. So any thoughts of a wild card there, I think, were dashed, and I think they're okay with that because they arrived sooner than expected anyway. The Red Sox surprised anybody landing Rutschman. That was awesome. I'm surprised that the Giants made a deal in the division for Robbie Ray, sending him to San Diego, even though I guess in the division doesn't really matter when it's a guy that's going to be a free agent anyway, and you're Giants. I think the Giants will probably be learning in the next half hour of more people on their way out of San Francisco as well. The Joe Adell trade was surprising. I think, the Angels are trying to kind of pick apart what was left. And with John Mozeliak there, he has no built-in allegiances to any of the people that were drafted by Perry Manassian, any of the people that had been there previously, and he's tearing it down to the studs. And it's hard to say for a team that's got the worst record in baseball, but they're gonna wheel and deal even more. So, I mean, those were my big takeaways. I was also surprised that the Seattle couldn't. And again, you say this because I'm not intimately familiar with all these prospect packages, right? That's a whole nother group of people that scour the minors, and I'm not one of them. But I thought that Luis Castillo could have netted perhaps a little bit more for Seattle, and I was surprised that was the guy that the White Sox went after. He automatically becomes their most experienced starter, but he's closer to the end than the beginning. That this is one push for the postseason on the South Side, and that's kind of nice to see because they haven't made ad trades in a long time because they've been terrible for so long. So really a fascinating 48 hours, and I can't wait to see what happens next. There's no Nationals lineup, by the way, tonight, which I think is interesting because they're playing Aaron Nola and the Phillies, and Nola his fastball has absolutely gotten blistered. So no Mead, no Luis Garcia Jr., who does damage for the Nationals lineup on a night like tonight. I still look at it from a micro level. There are games to be played tonight without everybody having reported when these deals have been made. So tonight's schedule is going to be fascinating too.
Yep. Great breakdown there. Follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, Matt Vasgersian, MLB Network on the Progressive Guest Line. And in the last 2 minutes, Matt, the Nationals have traded starter Foster Griffin, all-star, by the way, to the Cleveland Guardians. What is your gut reaction to that move?
Wow, Cleveland loading up.
Yeah.
This is behavior that we don't see there very often, right? They're usually not content, but they're usually in a position where they have to kind of go to battle with the guys that they draft and develop and have on the cheap. But Joe Adell and now Foster Griffin, that's fascinating because I think Cleveland knows they have two really good starters and then some dudes. So you add Foster Griffin, and there's your third really good starter, and they're getting ready to perhaps win a wild card series. Those are two really interesting moves, and they covet the power that Joe Adell has to whatever flaws people perceive in Joe's offensive profile. He hits the ball for power, and wow, go Cleveland. Good for them.
By the way, Guardians 3 games back right now. The White Sox. They have the easiest schedule remaining in Major League Baseball, and they're better than 2-1 right now to win that division. Interesting. I know you said how tricky tonight might be with the lineups, but do you have anything circled maybe as like something we should be looking at?
I looked at the Razor in Denver, and it's everybody always goes there for the obvious kind of auto play, over runs, blah blah blah. It's Michael Lorenzen on the mound for them tonight for the Rocks, who I love, but who has had a lot of trouble with his fastball family, his four-seam cut sinker. And if you look at the guys who kind of feasted on that away from Tropicana Field, courtesy of Baseball Savant, all this public information, as we say a lot, Chandler Simpson's fascinating. A ball in the gap in Denver, and he's on third base, right? Johnny DeLuca's another guy who kind of below the radar, right? I'm not sure if they even write lines on guys that are platoon players, but I'm pretty sure Chandler Simpson you could find at a 1.5 total bases, and if he gets 5 plate appearances there, I feel like that's a nice one to look at too. And again, I don't know who's going to line up for the Nationals where, but they have a juicy matchup against another guy who's gotten his fastball just walloped this year in Aaron Nola. Oh, and another one, Schlittler. I don't know what the number is. You've got all that stuff right there, Mitch, but we had Schlittler's game last week when he had the White Sox put away wet. It was 4-0, and then a series of unfortunate occurrences cost him the decision. But, man, after the break, when he got the extended rest, he has come out and had 2 electric starts.
Yeah.
And Schlittler's K number would be interesting tonight.
10 plus is 5-1. 9 plus is plus 260. 8 plus is plus 130. 1 minute left. When does the season start next year?
Oh, man, I hope it's whatever it is, March 29th. I've been the optimist. Maybe I'm a Pollyanna, but I've been the guy thinking that just like 2022, they're going to go in kicking and screaming and fighting and name-calling and poking each other in the eye, and then the cooler heads will prevail and everything will get figured out for a timely start to the season. I don't think they miss games. I'm keeping my fingers crossed, and I hope I'm right.
Yeah, we're in the same boat. Hopefully you're spot on with that. Matt, you're the best. Thanks so much here on Deadline Day. We appreciate that.
All right, guys, you got it. See ya.
Back at you. I think the Guardians are very intriguing right now at higher than 2-1 to win that division.
He is number 2 in ROI. They're 17-5 in his starts. Is up almost 13 units. Griffin. What a surprise that is.
I know. And now you can go, hello, Gavin Williams is one of the best pitchers in baseball, along with Messick. Now, he's a rookie, so will that be a thing in October? I don't know, but...
I like him.
Yeah?
I can trust him. That's a surprising move.
I know.
A lot of moves, ton of moves.
VSiN College Football Betting Guide is out now. We'll discuss some great info. You can find it coming up next. File away the stability scores that we're going to share next.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Thanks for checking in. The deadline now is supposed to be over with for trading in Major League Baseball. We'll tell you what came in at the deadline, when it appears, if anything is major to report. It's Mitch Moss along with Paulie Howard back from vacation. We're live in Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. A lot to get into this hour. Aaron Moore, College Football Betting Guide, is out. He'll join us in 30 minutes. Right now, John Calvecchio joins the show. He is in studio. Follow them on Instagram, Sports Connection Cards there, and he is in studio now from Chicago, where he's there for the National Card Show. Always great to talk to you, my man. How are you?
I'm great, Mitch. Thanks for having me.
So you've been doing the National Card Show for how long?
All week. We got in on Tuesday.
How many years?
11.
And this year was by far and away the biggest?
I never seen anything like it. And it would start, the line, as you'll see in the video, it was wrapped around the building over a mile long. I never saw anything
over
like it.
Over a mile?
A mile.
Watch this. Yeah, put this up.
It's unbelievable.
Look at these lines. Yeah.
The one day it was raining, I had a meeting it was Saturday. I had a meeting Saturday morning.
Oh, my God.
Look at this.
Oh.
Saturday morning, I had a meeting. It's pouring rain. 8 o'clock in the morning, I had to be there. Would you believe the line was still wrapped around the building?
So what's the cause for this? It gets bigger and bigger every single year.
Yep.
I mean, it was huge when we were younger. It went away for a minute, and then it just came roaring back. What, pandemic?
Yep. What's the cause of it now? What I think is really the marketing is unbelievable. There are some things that Fanatics is doing that are incredible. Their marketing is second to none. And they're doing a great job of bringing new people into the industry. They're also doing a great job of bringing former collectors into the industry. And they're really pulling on your heartstrings with the nostalgia and the memories. And you've got fathers and sons. And I got a great father-son story about a kid that shook me down for a deal. It was unbelievable.
Yes.
It was unreal.
That'd be good. So you told the story of how everything changed when COVID happened. You thought the world was going to end and the business was going to go under, and it was the best thing that happened to card collecting. And when we were doing this as kids, I mean, like the Griffey cards and everyone getting the Beckett guide, those cards were like $50, $100. Now, this Ohtani card went for $12 million, whatever it was. So there are three different types of collectors. Can you share that and get into that a little bit now?
Yep. So this is my national recap. And I had some great conversations with people, and the conclusion that I've drawn is there's three different types of people that are in this industry. The first is the guy that's been in the business for 20 years, whether it's on the sell side or as a diehard collector, okay? And the values never really mattered to these people. They never really mattered to me. I never thought it could get this big. We just love the thrill of chasing our cards, rare cards of our favorite players. So they're still around. The second bucket is the people who came into the industry post-2020, some left when we had our first correction. And now, since Fanatics has taken over full force, their marketing has brought in more people than I could ever imagine. The third are the people, they're not so great actors. They're people that are cleaning money, for lack of a better term, okay? And what's happening is they're paying insane prices for GOATs. Brady, LeBron, Jordan,
And bragging
Kobe.
about it.
And bragging about
I
it.
overpaid. Who cares? Look at this. I'm on social media. I paid $9 million for a Kobe, whatever.
Yep. And what's happening is you're forcing the people in the first bucket, the true collector, to make a decision. Do I believe this? Do I want to stay in it? Well, for them, the benefit that they have is that all the cards that they've stashed and kept for all these years, they're up at these levels at these crazy prices. So when they're trading, they're not losing any money. They're just trading current value for current value. The people that I'm concerned with are the people in that second bucket. And here's an example. A guy came up to my booth with a whole bunch of graded Jordan and Kobe cards. Nothing crazy. But I didn't realize the value of these. I don't follow the base card market very much. It's just not my thing. But when I was looking up the value of these to make the guy an offer, I was like, holy God, what is going on here? Like a second-year Kobe card, a junk card that was in people's dollar box. It was a $1,300 card. I couldn't believe I was buying this stuff. I made the guy an offer on the stuff. The kids that work with me were like, you're out of your mind. What are you doing buying this? This is junk. I said, I'll bet you guys anything you want. Dinner tonight. You guys pay for my meal or I pay for everyone else if this Kobe doesn't sell in the next 3 hours. They said, you're on. Guess what? The card sold in 10 minutes. I put it out for $1,325. Guy came up to the booth and said, will you take $1,300? He was smiling from ear to ear to have this card. It was a junk card 5 years ago, 10 years ago. You know, so I'm concerned that those people in the middle are going to take a bath when things correct.
Okay, and by the way, so what about people who have not maybe checked their card collection in 3, 4, 5 years? They need to specifically be looking for cards like this now all of a sudden.
Yeah, not only that, not only the GOATs, but now you have set collectors. So you've got guys that are building these really rare sets, and there's really low-numbered cards that could be just thrown in a box, okay? And it might be a guy who's not a big name, Antonio McDyess, Sean Elliott, but it's a rare card and someone needs it, either the player collector or the set collector.
What was the $11 million figure you talked about at the National Card Show?
Yep. Well, the $11 million figure, there was a bounty out for an Ohtani card, a dual autograph. The first guy put a bounty out at $6 million. The next guy put a bounty out at $12 million. The card ended up getting sold for $13 million. What I think what you're talking about is the auction house.
Yes.
That was showing what type of cash advances they had given out.
Okay.
You'll see on the screen here, Alt Collectibles. They're one of many online auction houses. They took in $25 million in consigned cards. That's one of maybe, 10 auction houses that were there. Just start doing some math about the numbers that were transacted at this place. That's just the auction house.
So if they did 25 million and there were 10 there, on average, what do you think they were doing? All of them?
10 million. 10 million.
So over $100 million.
Oh, God.
No problem.
Easy.
So what was the biggest amount of cash that you saw anybody have on hand?
$1 million. I saw a guy, easy in the briefcase, $1 million minimum. I don't even know what was in the. He had a wheelie too. This guy had a private security guard. It was 2 of them. He had his kid there with him. The kid was nagging the father. I want to go. I don't want to stand here. He's waiting in line for PSA. The dad, in a stack of cards like this, gives him a $500,000 Kobe and says, "Here, get out of here. Go try to sell this. Get away from me. Don't bother me." Kid was 12 years old.
And he's at your stand.
No, he's in line for PSA waiting for his cards. The kid's walking around trying to sell a $500,000 Kobe. He's 12 years old.
Was this the kid who was offered $1.5 million cash and said no?
The kid.
This is the guy?
That's the kid?
This is the kid.
Got offered $1.5 million. He said, no, it's not enough.
For that $500,000 card or for a
Yeah, he
different
thought
card?
it was more. He thought it was more. He wanted more. The dad just gave him the card. He said, go walk around with this. Get away from me. Kid's walking around with one card.
I'm guessing the dad would have taken 1.5 in a split second.
Who knows? These people, they got more money than they know what to do
He had
with.
a briefcase with more than $1 million in it.
Easy.
Okay, tell the story about the 9-year-old.
What happens with sellers is they come up to the booth and they look in your case. And if you have stuff that they have for sale, they start engaging with you. I'm a huge Wemby guy. I've talked about this on every show I've been on. I had some really nice Wembys. Kid and his father come up to the booth with a really nice Wemby downtown second-year card. It's about a $12,000 card. I had just bought one about a half hour earlier for $10,000. The father comes up to the booth. He goes, "Hey, you interested in this?" I said, "Wow, I just bought one. What are the odds the second one walks up?" And the dad looks at me. He says, "I need 11 for it." I said, "Oh, God, I can't pay that. I just paid 10 for my last one." 9-year-old looks me dead in the eye, sticks his hand out, and he says, 10-5 flat. That's my bottom number. You got 30 seconds to decide. Clock starts. Are you kidding me?
What'd you do?
I looked at the dad. My jaw was on the table. I didn't know what to say. I said, "I'll make a deal with you." The kid says, "The clock's ticking." I said, "I'll give your dad 10 as long as he gives you the other 5 to go and do whatever you want with." Dad said, "Deal. Done." How do I say no to this kid?
That was my follow-up. You can't say no to that
How do
kid.
I say no? The kid's got that much confidence. He's telling an adult, "I got 30 seconds. Clock starts."
That's you know what that is? Unbelievable parenting.
Oh God! And then I looked at the dad. The kid's from Baltimore. I said, "What do I got to do to hire this kid? How about next year at the National? Let me get him behind the booth. Send them up to work with me on weekends. I'll teach them what I know. This kid's another weapon, another potential weapon. Unbelievable."
Wow.
That's my floor, or I walk.
That's my floor,
I take
or
it,
I walk.
So how you have to be 2:30 before we go to break here. But how sharp do you have to be and on your game where people are looking to take advantage of you with what's going on? All these collectors gathered at one spot.
Yeah, big time. So there's certain apps that allow you to look at past sales of cards, okay? But now in this app, not only can you see the past sale, you can see the value that the app is putting on the card. Well, the app is not sharp, right? So you might have a card that's graded a 9 where the value is X, and then you might have that same card graded an 8.5 and the value is X times 1.5. So you'll get these people that have these cards and they'll say, "Oh, well, look, the value of this is $1,500. Can you give me this?" But it's really not the value. They're just leveraging, the app, a mistake on the app. And if you don't do this, that's just a $1,500 card. What if it's a $10,000 card,
Sure.
$15,000 card? Now you're talking about some big mistakes.
Yeah, huge mistakes. By the way, breaking news here as Jeff Passan tweeted out at the buzzer. Have you seen this?
No.
The San Diego Padres made another move. They acquired right-hander Casey Mize from the Tigers. So on the same, again, all this talk, hey, they're going to be sellers. No, they're not.
They won 8 or 9.
Yeah, and earlier,
Timing.
they landed Mize along with Robbie Ray earlier today inside their own division. That's incredible. What are they right now to make?
Former first pick in the draft, Casey Mize.
Already gone. If I'm a Tigers fan, I can't wait to talk to Derek Stevens tomorrow.
Boy, oh boy.
How pissed off, how sick do you have to be about that?
Don't want futures on them anymore.
They emptied the clip.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they got nothing back. The one kid they got from the Dodgers was like 28 years old.
You believe that?
I know.
No.
ESPN gave him a D for a grade. It's like, why was the rush and why was this the return?
Why did the Dodgers?
That too. But that's also where, at that point, I feel bad picking up the phone. I listen, I know you're a great organization, but how much do you need?
Yeah.
Come on.
By the way, rookie cards there for the Dodgers players, probably worth squat, huh?
Yep.
In return that the Tigers got? All right, I want to ask you about what you, like the sports betting conversations that were going on at the National Sports Card Convention, and what can slow this down, if anything. We'll continue with John Cavecchio coming up next year on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Huge day today. Deadline day in Major League Baseball for trades. We've talked about it a lot. Also, the college football betting guide is out. You can go get your hands on that bad boy as we speak. VSiN.com/subscribe. And right now, more on that as we go out to the progressive guest line. Aaron Moore, the professor, joins the program. Good afternoon, Aaron. Thanks for the time today. How are you?
Good, guys. Doing well. It's kind of busy, right? In the summer, you get the college football betting guide, while at the same time, we're trying to see who's trading for who and who are the Padres going to get at the last second.
Yep. No kidding. And they did get Casey Mize, by the way, for those of you just tuning in, at the last second from Detroit to go along with Robbie Ray earlier today. You have a nice mix of bets in the betting guide. Let's start with your national title winner. And I think it's a good point to make here about Texas. What do you want to do?
Well, I'm taking them to win the national championship, Mitch, at 7-1. There's 8-1 plus 750 is out there. And I'm handicapping it in a certain way where if you look at Ohio State at the top of the board, I just think they're overvalued. I think you're going a little bit on what Ohio State did a couple years ago. I think it's also Big Ten love that we see. And then we have Notre Dame coming in. They're going to get the wins. Maybe they get 11 wins, so they should be there. Now we're going to look at what happens next. And I think you have to go in terms of my handicap with Texas because you're going to have two basic SEC teams. It's going to be Texas or Georgia, most likely to push for a national championship. With Ohio State, you also have to deal with Indiana, Oregon. So I just saw there was value on Texas. It sounds strange to say that there's value on the SEC, but maybe the Big Ten is a little bit overrated. And I like what Texas did. Obviously, they have the money to spend in NIL. They have Cam Cameron coming over from Auburn. He's going to help with Ryan Wingo. You have Arch Manning, who's not the same guy as last year. I think there's probably some hesitancy for people to back Texas because of the problems Manning had at the beginning of last season. Look at what he did at the end of last season. So you've got him as a veteran. You've got Hollywood Smothers as a running back. You have Will Muschamp coming in to take care of the defense. So it's not crazy to say Texas spent a lot of money, which they did. They have a ton of talent. But I just think from a value standpoint, you're getting the SEC team here because Notre Dame is going to get those wins. And I think Ohio State, in this case, is a little bit overrated.
Where does that number go if they're impressive and they beat the Buckeyes week 2?
Yeah, Paulie, I think these things are really correlated. You have to look at it, that if you've got Texas to win that game at home against Ohio State, Texas is a 1.5 favorite. That line is going to change dramatically. So if you like Texas at home and you're unsure about what to do for their national championship, I think you're going to like that plus 750. Now, at the same time, if they lose, they're still in the mix. Obviously, it's not an SEC game, but I like Texas to win at home against Ohio State. So I'm taking it now because, Paulie, those things really are correlated.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I thought this, I could be wrong. I thought the first place I saw this was years ago at the South Point with Chrissy Andrews. But now this is widely available, and I like it. Conference wins. How about Clemson under 5.5?
I love conference wins. When we talk about college football handicapping, you get such a big menu. You see that in the VSiN guide. I really focus on conference wins. I do it often because you can really look at schedule and you can break it down. So I took Clemson under 5.5 wins. You got to pay some juice here. You get it at minus 150, but I don't see them winning 6 games. And it's interesting, if you look at the Clemson schedule, they're at home against UNC. It's possible that UNC can pull that off. But then the second conference game of the season, they have to fly to California, come back and play Miami. So those first 3 games, it's possible that Clemson starts out 1-2. And I just don't see the wins coming for them at the end of the season. They've got Georgia Tech and Duke. In between, they have at Florida State and then go to Syracuse. So I like the conference wins to go over under. I like that market, Paulie, because you can really break it down based on travel. You can base it down on the week. So I took Clemson under that 5.5. Boy, I do not see them getting 6 ACC wins.
That's a very good catch by you, by the way. And you're right, that has expanded. A lot of books are offering that now, much like they're offering teams just to make the title game. And there's another team in this conference that you like this year, and I can't wait to hear why you're on SMU.
So in this case, Mitch, I took SMU plus 200. You get them 2-1 to make the ACC championship game. So I look at this bet as basically you're betting on SMU to be the second best ACC team. But if something crazy happens and Miami loses a couple games that we don't expect, you're still going to be able to cash this 2-1 ticket. And that's basically, if you're looking at it, Miami is not on their schedule. That's a big one. And I'm going to look in this situation, veteran quarterbacks. I think that's going to be a big talking point this season. SMU has Kevin Jennings, certainly a very good veteran QB. This bet is really the way I look at it. It's going to come down to the first 2 weeks of ACC play. You get SMU at Florida State right now. SMU is a 1.5 point favorite, so obviously that's close to a coin flip. And then they're home against Louisville. And in this case, Louisville is a 1.5 favorite. So once again, it is a coin flip. I look at it in this situation. If SMU can go 1-1, I like that bet. Obviously, if they go 2-0, it looks fantastic. So when you're looking at ACC, I think really it's you've got Miami heads and shoulders above everybody else. And then you want to try to find angles. You want to try to find bets to maybe get that second best team. And right now, it really looks like it's a neck and neck race between SMU and Louisville. Ultimately, I went with SMU because they're going to get Louisville at home.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. Do you have a bet on the Heisman yet?
In this situation, I don't have a bet, Mitch. And if I look at it, I think if I was going to make it, it would be one of two bets. There's so many different quarterbacks right now we can throw out there. I don't like CJ Carr. And one of the reasons I don't like CJ Carr is, especially he's got that number of 7-1. I think there's going to be a little bit of a narrative knock against Notre Dame this year. They're going to win, but I don't think that schedule is really going to wow a lot of the voters. There's almost an expectation that Notre Dame wins 10, 11 games. So I think that's going to hurt Carr. Now, if I'm going to look at a bet, I would look at Arch Manning. I don't like a short number. I know a lot of times we want to really look at big numbers and hopefully some long shot comes in. I think this is Arch Manning's winning. This Heisman is his to win this year. If I had to go a little bit deeper, I think I would look at Malachi Toney as a running back for Miami, maybe just to go a little bit different from the quarterbacks, try to zig while everybody's zagging. But at this point, I don't have a bet.
Okay. That also ties into a season-long prop that you like with Carr, and I think this makes a lot of sense as well, based on what you were just saying.
Yeah, I took Carr, and this is something that you can get at FanDuel. I took him at under 2,875.5 passing yards. And the reason being is last year he had 2,741 passing yards. So you're going over what he did last year. And I just look at it in terms of, what do I want to take a player under? Well, there's always going to be Notre Dame interest. People are going to bet Notre Dame. There are probably a lot of Notre Dame fans that want to see him get that number, so they'll bet the over. I always like to take the under in quarterbacks. You just never know. A series or two could really throw off a season-long total. And then when I look in this in CJ Carr in Notre Dame, Wisconsin, North Carolina, Navy, probably 3 games they should win. It would certainly be a surprise if they lost, but I don't think they need a big offensive production from CJ Carr, so maybe his numbers go under. So if you look at something like a Notre Dame, you just always have to realize there's so much fan interest. There's so much public interest. So in this case, I'm going to take the under CJ Carr passing total.
Yeah. A lot of books are creative, and a lot of bookmakers and traders watch the show. How about a prop? You want to see, will a team with 3 losses make the playoff?
Yeah, Paulie, I think that would be interesting. There's a lot of prop derivatives that we get in college basketball in the tournament. Maybe let's look at it with college football. If you've got the SEC with another game within the conference this year, these teams are going to beat each other up. Not everybody's going to play a last place team. So you look at the depth of the Big Ten, you look at the depth of the SEC. I want to see, will a 3-loss team make the college football playoff? Think about last year. Alabama got the 3 losses. Everybody was going crazy. How could they do it? I think this movement of these teams in terms of the SEC and the Big Ten, the depth, you're going to possibly see 3 losses once you get in. So I think it's an interesting prop bet that we get a lot of these college basketball time. Bookmakers should maybe be a little bit more aggressive and do something like that for the college football playoffs.
Yeah, asking you shall receive potentially down the road for that one, Aaron. Great stuff here and also in the guide. Thanks so much, and best of luck with the season.
You too, guys. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Guide is out today.
Get the sucker. It's awesome.
vsin.com/subscribe. So good. Our in-pocket plays are coming up next, and this is a very strong comment from Tarek Skubal. Find out what he said next.